and welcome to episode 4 of the Flow University YouTube channel. I apologize for today's episode. My voice is a little raspy. I am just getting over a brief cold. I hope that you all still are able to enjoy the information and digest the knowledge that I will be giving you today. For today's episode, I will be discussing and giving to you how you can begin to craft your own style. Up to this point, what we have been doing here is beginning to help you, the individual, in establishing the foundational pieces for you to be successful in that fitness journey and that journey of personal development in discovering and developing self. In today's episode, I will be giving away 5 keys, as well as in the previous episodes, to help you, the individual, in beginning to craft your own unique style. This is very important for you, as when you begin to express yourself, a lot of individuals will begin to look towards other masters or other individuals that have attained success, and they will begin to emulate those individuals' success. But a lot of times, the individuals who these people are watching are in a unique circumstance or situation, or have past experiences that have led to them being able to have that success in their current situation. So in today's episode, I will be giving you, the viewer, 5 helpful keys to begin to craft your own unique style so that you can continue to maneuver and get down that pathway and also begin to express that deep inherent essence that is within yourself. My hope is that you enjoy this episode and continue to grow, learn, and develop. You all, let's get ready to begin episode 4 of the Flow University YouTube channel, titled How to Craft Your Own Unique Hello, style. Everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Flow University YouTube channel, titled How to Craft Your Own Unique Style. The first key that I will be giving away in today's episode is you want to focus on individualization. Now, in my fitness journey and what has fast-tracked my growth and my development, not just in fitness, but in other endeavors and areas as well, is that there is always a focus on what is going on within your unique and personal situation. A lot of times, we as human beings, when we begin to venture down different pathways or endeavors, we will begin to look outward externally to other people or situations where there has been success, or people who have begun to attain whatever it is that we personally desire. But the true key in beginning to fast track your progress is you want to start with the individual. You want to start with yourself, and you want to, in other episodes, we have gone and given brief examples of why you want to focus on how you operate, how you function, and how you're structured. But whenever it comes to you beginning to venture down that pathway, you have to truly see, okay, how can I craft this? If it's a workout, if it's a program, if it's how your house is set up, if it's even you're trying to time manage and figure out a budget, financials, like, okay, how can I have this work for me? What is my individual situation? A lot of times, if you're making $100,000, if you're making $50,000, you have to craft, okay, my budget is going to look like this, and it's individualized and works for you. A lot of times, a lot of these self-help gurus or people you see online or people that you're reading books, they'll give their knowledge and their information, but they're giving it from a perspective that isn't the same perspective as you, or in the same situation that you're in. So a lot of times, a very famous line that people like to say is different strokes for different folks. And so in this situation, it's a different stroke for a different folk. And so a lot of times people, and I've read a lot of books, and a lot of times these people, they give good advice, but the advice that they're giving to you is from a position of success. And a lot of times, a lot of people aren't at that position of success. And so a lot of times the key action steps and a lot of things they have to do has to be broken down for more so the position that they're at. And so this same thing applies for the fitness industry. So if you're coming to the fitness industry and you've kickstarted your fitness journey, as we talked about in episode 1, and you've begun to build that momentum in episode 3, and now you're sitting here and you're like, okay, cool. Now I want to begin to express myself a little bit more. I got that consistency, I got that routine, but I might have hit a plateau, or I might have, begun to even get a little bit bored. That drive, that motivation isn't coming, and you're sitting up there and you're just like, okay, I need more. There has to be more here. And so diving more deep within yourself and saying, okay, what is it that I really want? What is it that, brings me joy? What is it that lights my soul on fire? That's going to help you out a lot. What is it that I truly want in this life? A lot of individuals, they don't know what they want in life. They don't know how their internal driving factors are going on in their mind, in their body. They don't know what triggers them, what pushes them, what invigorates them. And so what individualization will do, it will help you to not only understand how you function in your operate, but it'll also help you in operating within the external world. It'll help you to orientate yourself properly. And so what this could look like is, let's say you're following a program. Okay, let's say you bought a program from a trainer online. Okay, you got the program and you're seeing, okay, it has lunges, but every time you lunge, you're getting pain in your knee. So now individualization might look like, okay, maybe I can't do lunges. I'll switch this out with step ups. Or maybe instead of the step ups, and more so to get into that deep range of motion to the hip, maybe I can do Bulgarian split squats. Maybe that'll be a little bit better for me. Maybe I can do, a split squat and hold on to a pole or something. So individualization is seeing, okay, where is it that I'm trying to go? Where is it that I'm at? How do I function? How do I operate? How am I structured? How is my internal driving factors helping me to orientate to the external environment? How is the external environment influencing my internal environment, and seeing what it is that I have to do to more so properly get to the place that I need to get to. And so some individualization for you might look like, okay, I have a program. The program's fine. Nutrition's fine. My recovery's fine. But now I need a community that works for me. And so you're beginning to, a lot of these boutique fitness studios are beginning to pop up, not just the Orange Theories, but you're getting Solid Core, you're getting Pilates places, there's some HIIT training style gyms, CrossFit training style gyms, more so these small gyms, and you have these communities. And so for the individual, you're sitting up here like, okay, I have my personal stuff I'll handle, but what does it look like when I begin to be with other people, and what do I want that to look like? And so this is very important for you, because now it's like, okay, a lot of individuals, what they'll do is they'll look to others to determine how they should act in the world, instead of looking within to the values that they hold at the highest order within their life to see how they should orientate themselves out externally. And so you always want to start within and then go outside. A lot of individuals, they go outside and use the outside to determine what happens within. And the problem is, if you use the outside to determine what happens within, is that the external environments can influence you, not just in terms of the environment and ecosystem. This is going back to episode 3 when I talk about how you want to create your own ecosystem, but you don't want this. All happens to people as well. People will let people's thoughts, opinions, and ideals influence how they act and how they operate in the world. And this is how you can become submissive to others. I was reading a research article the other day where it was talking about how they did experiments in the past. I apologize, I forget the exact name of the research paper, but essentially these people were put in front of I think it was called the Milton experiment, where it was talking about power and how authority works in people's lives. And so authority is a social construct. And so there's different contracts that people give to other individuals. So in real essence, you give power to other people. And so what individualization will do for you is it'll help you to reclaim that power and go within, and then begin to express yourself externally. A lot of times society is set up in such a way that it restricts and it suppresses people's ability to express themselves, because people are always worried about what others will think about them. And so when you begin to individualize and you begin to express yourself without that fear that restricts you, then you'll be able to properly move and do what you want. And especially when it comes to movement, because a lot of people, they don't do certain things and they're not able to engage with movement at the highest level because that fear is restricting them. It's holding them back. There's always that self-critic is in our mind, is telling us you shouldn't operate like this. You shouldn't move like this. You should present yourself and operate like this. And you see this a lot of times with individuals when they're in a lot of these high level social environments. They operate very restrictly. And going back to episode 3, I talked about women for a brief second, about how I was amazed at how meticulous women could be and how they approach weights and how they approach the technical side of lifting. But this also applies in the social aspect. And when it comes to individualization, a lot of women, a lot of times, they're very restricted. And I apologize, but even very beautiful women, a lot of times, very beautiful women are able to express themselves because they always have the pressure of other people's eyes always being on top of them. So if you, the individual, can realize that I don't have to worry about what other people are saying about me, because a key indicator is that we're all dealing with that fear. We're all dealing with the scaredness of being judged by others. We're all dealing with not living up to other people's expectations. We're all dealing with the very likelihood and the possibility that we might be rejected from the group. And this comes back to a survival mechanism within us as human beings, where in the past, if you were rejected by the group, the likelihood for your survival would tremendously decrease. And so we as human beings, what gave us the likelihood and what rose us to the highest peak of the animal kingdom in the top of the food chain was that we as human beings, truly, we took on a spirit of collaboration. We looked to our brothers and our sisters and we said, we can do this together. And we took hands with each other and we came together and we began to rise up. And so in the modern society, it doesn't operate like this. Modern society is operated on a spirit of competitiveness and seeing others in that crab and a barrel mentality of, I don't want someone to be better than me. And if I see someone be better than me, then I'm gonna grab them by the ankle and drag them back down, or I'm gonna criticize and judge and be harsh to them so that they don't become more, because that might have to lead to me being more, or it might reveal the weaknesses or the inadequacies within myself. But for you, the individual, you have that unique essence, that special, true thing that was in yourself that can't be described in words. And that's what gives you value. That's what gives every person equal value. It sets everyone up on the equal playing field. And these individuals that have their inherent gifts and their abilities and their talents, that should be commended, but you also have talents and abilities as well. And so individualization is taking a step back and seeing what are those inherent gifts that are within myself. What is that unique essence that is within myself? How do I present myself internally, and then exuding that energy, that force, that vibration externally, and then orienting yourself in the world properly. And this goes into key number two is simplicity. A lot of people complicate the aspects of beginning to relate with other people. Truly, a lot of humans, we over analyze things, and we're always looking at things from multiple angles, and we're always looking and we're judging humans so harshly that when we interact with other humans, we see that human and we're thinking, okay, what is their angle? Why are they here? Why are they doing this? And I understand that survival is a key indicator and why we as humans do this, but when we overdo it, then it leads to us exuding an energy of oppression on not just ourselves, but to other people. Because what happens externally happens internally, and what happens internally happens externally. And you don't want to have the external influence that internal environment. And so you don't want to overcomplicate a very simple situation. A lot of times the solutions to a lot of problems are literally like one step solutions. You don't have to, we're not trying to crack the code to the world's most difficult mathematical equation, or we're not trying to create the world's most beautiful masterpiece. A lot of times the true beauty and the ideal is that just expressing self is extremely simplistic. And truly, if you watch children do this almost effortlessly. If you watch a 3, 4, 5-year-old, while they might not have the solutions to some of the world's more complex problems, a lot of times the way they interact with themselves and the others around them is of the purest essence of us as human beings. And so when we get older, we as human beings, we tend to forget the simplicity that made life joyous, that made life more flavorful and made life more easy for us to connect with people. It's very interesting when you see children interact with each other that they are able to make friends extremely easy because the world in its simplicity makes play, it makes engaging with others more simplistic. But in the overcomplicatedness that is the adult world, and we humans, we use adult world too loosely because a lot of times internally, a lot of us are still children, while externally we put on a false ego and a front and a face of having an adult body. And so when you see children play, truly look and learn. You can learn from all things in existence. And so when you see children, you see how they operate with each other, and you see the playfulness and the joy, then you can take and you can learn from that and be like, man, I don't have to criticize these other humans. I don't have to judge them so harshly. I don't have to have hatred in my heart because they're living this crazy experience called life just as I am. And in that one brief place of connectivity, we can find peace in that. And in today's world, there's a lot of wars going on. There's wars with Israel and Palestine. There's wars with Ukraine and Russia. And a lot of times we as humans, we see these tragedies go on, and we want to immediately demean and judge and oppress others. But we as humans, we have to come together and see that, hey, like we're all on this earth and we're all trying to figure this out. And perhaps in the past, we have made the wrong decisions to value things that are of lower essences, but the future is what holds the highest of lights, and we must grasp onto that and rise up as human beings, because that is what we are, and we are even more than that as human beings. The word human is just a symbol in this world of symbols. And so as you, the viewer, begin to truly let this sink in, begin to simplify a lot of things you have overcomplicated in your life. And this moves on to key number 3. Key number 3 is you want to keep it convenient, moving back to more so the fitness side. Within the fitness industry, a lot of times you have these individuals, and going back to our other videos, they create these niches in order for them to put food on the table and to have careers, and they will overcomplicate a very simplistic thing. There's nothing wrong with this, because when you begin to master certain things, you always want to go to the root, going back to some of the other videos, to whatever it is, and then from that root, you get a more in-depth understanding. But a lot of times what happens with people is that they want to stroke their egos. They want to appease the egos. And it's not about gaining insight, knowledge, or even understanding. It's just that they get an ego boost from stroking their intellect. And you see this a lot of times with individuals in the academic realm. You see this a lot of times in even sports world and other things, and you even see it in the fitness industry. It's not about helping the individual. It's not about giving knowledge. It's not about actual tangible steps to see improvement and giving very practical solutions. It's about, what can I do to make myself feel better? Because this issue, this piece, this conversation is predicated on my pride, my insecurity, my position. And so it's not about helping others, or it's not about providing the best solution. It's about, what can I do to uphold whatever it is, my social status, my power, my position. And you see this a lot of times with people in specific industries, and you see this a lot of times even in people's individual life. A lot of times in people's individual life, they'll take on this mindset of overcomplicating things because they want to feel as though they're doing more than what they're actually doing. And so I fell prey to this. I used to have an extremely long routine where I would do all these small little tasks to make it seem like I was doing more than what I was really doing. But in reality, all I was doing was procrastinating from the more important things that I should be doing. I should be shooting this YouTube video. I should be finishing writing up my book. I should be focusing on making sure my business systems are down and packed. And because I wasn't doing this, because I was overcomplicating a very simplistic thing, because I was making things not as convenient for me, I was like, oh, like now I'm not seeing the results that I want to see. And so when it comes to keeping it convenient, a lot of these individuals, they'll go to these expensive gyms. They'll pay a lot of money for these things. They'll go to even a grocery store just to uphold a arbitrary or subjective image so that they can feel good about themselves, because they care so much about what other people think about them that their worth and their value as a human being comes from what other people think about them, instead of the reality and the truth of what is happening internally, and from the truth of what and who they are. And so when you realize this, if you want to see success and you want to craft your own unique style, you want to make things extremely convenient. Like if let's say, for example, you're going to the gym, you don't have to put on a $200 fit with some nice shoes, and even more than that with the jewelry and the watches. You're going there to work out and better yourself. You could go to the gym in some tennis shoes with a hole in it, some shorts, and a shirt with a stain, and you still have that value in you as a human being. No article of clothing, no piece of jewelry, that doesn't speak to who you are. That character is what is important. What's being built is what's important. The gym is a battlefield. It's a playground. It's a place where you go to discover and see and test your limits. And so when a lot of times in the fitness industry and with gym culture is extremely low level when it comes to the conscious awareness of what's going on. If you go to any commercial gym or what's going on in even some of these more private box gyms, as you'll see individuals walking around in these expensive things. And I'm saying I fell prey to this too as well. But it's low consciousness because individuals walk around with their head down. They're not looking at anyone, and they're immediately hustling and judging anyone that isn't doing what everyone else is doing. Don't fall prey to this. There's so much more out there in existence. A lot of time, these people you're seeing in the movies, these people that everyone worships online, they're doing things that everyone else isn't doing. They're not these people you're watching on TV, these people you're seeing in the sports world, these people, the top tier people you're seeing in the fitness industry, the people you're seeing in politicians and politics. They're doing things that the regular average person isn't doing, because what the regular average person is doing is they're doing what everyone else is doing. They're doing what everyone else they see is doing. And so if you want to begin to truly discover and develop yourself by looking around and being like, man, I don't have to worry about what these people are doing, what these people are saying. I need to do what works for me. And if you do what works for you and you make it convenient for yourself, then you'll see so much progress. Because now, let's say you're an individual and you have to go to this specific gym in order to hold on to a specific self-perceived status that you hold for yourself in order to stroke your ego. So you believe that other people care and hold you in high regard. When in reality, most people don't think about you worth a damn. And so let's say you're this individual, you could go to the gym that's like 5 minutes away from you, but in reality, you're going to a gym that's 30 minutes away just so that you can get an ego boost from going there. And in reality, the best thing for you would be to go to the gym that's in your apartment. I remember recently I got so busy with business and I was doing so much. I was going to this gym close to me called DMV Iron, and I recently signed up because I want to get more serious with training. But I was going to this gym and I was like, man, I don't got time for this. It took me like 15 minutes to get there, and I'm like, I don't have time. It was a 30-minute drive there and back. I was like, I don't have time for this. And I was like, the best gym I had was literally in my apartment. I had my apartment gym. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna train this apartment gym. That's all I need, especially when you understand fitness and you understand how movement works, and you got exercise and you understand like how that you don't need all that. And I was like, man, I made videos that said you can work out in your bedroom, you can work out in the living room, you can work out on the balcony, you work out anywhere. Like when you understand this and you stop trying to appease other human beings, then it's like, man, I'm just go down here, get my work in, and I'm good. Now I done just saved 30 minutes. I done saved gas. I done saved all this stuff. Boom. Now I come upstairs, man, I got 30 minutes. You know what? Time is the most time. There's so time, energy, and your peace. Those are the most valuable things you have as a human being. And so because time, you can't get time back. One day you're going to cease to exist. And the biggest thing that any human can have is remembrance. And the remembrance comes from remembering that death is always with you. Death isn't in the future. Death can happen like this. And remembering that you don't know when death comes. And so realizing that death is always present, and understanding that time capsule with the sand falling out, that any point that joint can hit zero, oh cool, like I'm gonna save as much time as possible so I can do what I gotta do on this earth before you pass away and you go on to the next plane of existence. So by keeping things convenient, you can save so many things. You can work on so many things. Like, even if you're not trying to do nothing crazy, you just trying, like, just say you want to spend more time with your kids. Like, you don't have to go to this big store and pay all this food and do all that. Man, you save your time, and now you can spend more time with the people you love, because that's the most important thing. I remember in the past, I didn't realize this. I didn't hold this in such high regard, and it cost me in certain ways. But I learned and I grew from not realizing this, and then the experience of and the pain and the anguish from not realizing this as well. And so the reason these videos are coming out is to give you, the individual, hopefully you gain wisdom through the pain of the experience that I went through, so that you can begin to level up and progress at a faster rate than what I did. A lot of times when I sit with clients and I'm in the gym, I tell them, the reason you're investing in personal training isn't because I'm just going to take you through some workouts and we're just going to sit here and have a good time. The reason I'm taking you through some workouts is because I can teach you everything I know so that you can become self-sufficient in as small of a time frame as possible. So you can get in point A to point B. What took me 7 years to learn, you could learn in 3 months. And so keep it convenient for yourself, and you'll see it. Like, you'll have so much more peace. Your mind will be at ease. And this goes into point number 4. What brings you joy? What lights your soul on fire? And when you're going down your fitness industry, I apologize. When you're going down your fitness journey, a lot of times you'll begin to do these workouts and you're going to the gym. And after 3, 4, 5, 6 months, even if you've seen the goal, see, what we're trying to develop is something that could be sustained for the rest of your life, something that can be sustained for the long run, because we're trying to improve the quality and even very much the duration of life. There's a lot of high level podcasters that are coming out with scientific information and practical steps to help you, the individuals, to implement those steps in your life so that we can increase the age range of human life. And so you can very much not live to 60, 70, 80 years old. You can live to 100 plus. So, but engaging in physical activity is going to help you out with that. And so if you're doing this for a long run, you want to make sure you're doing something that you want to keep coming back and doing. You don't want to every time you go to the gym, dread it every time. And I understand that not every single person on the planet loves exercising. There are people that hate exercising. I'm a fitness enthusiast. I can be in the gym all day. I have been in the gym all day. I literally, every single aspect of my life involves fitness. I literally get a kick out of learning new stuff about fitness, learning new things about gyms. I make videos about this. Like, this is my purpose in life, and I'm gonna die doing this. But for you, the individual, you might not be that passionate fitness individual. So for you, engaging for exercise can be kind of tumultuous, because you're sitting there like, man, every time I walk in the gym, it's like, oh my God. You could have just had a long day of work. You could have just, someone could have just yelled at you. You could have cussed you on your way to the gym. You could have had, I live in the DMV area, right outside of Washington, D.C., and the traffic here sucks. What should take 5 minutes to get somewhere, it takes 15, sometimes 20, 30 minutes. And so you get to the gym, you just spent 25 minutes getting to the gym. You're just like, oh my gosh, this should have took me 5 minutes. Now I'm sitting up here and, I wanted to be here at 5:30. Now I'm here at 6. So for you, you have to really do things that bring you joy, because when life is extremely chaotic, and so you can't control a lot of the external chaos things that happen in life, but you can bring order if there are proper orientations and things set up in your life. And so if you can have fitness not be something that brings your soul and your spirit down, bring joy into it, then that it can be a plus and things that can be peaceful to you. And so you have to discover what brings you joy, what lights your soul on fire. You don't have to sit up there and hop on the machines and do a bunch of leg workouts and whatever. Again, the purpose here is to improve your quality of life and extend the duration of your life. And so that doesn't mean if you're doing bodybuilding movements, then okay, you're gonna have to hop on some machines. If you're doing a bodybuilding show, if you're doing a powerlifting competition, yeah, you have to use the barbell. If you're a kettlebell person, like say you're doing a certification or something, then you have to focus in. That's when you get into specificity and all of that. But if you're sitting there and you're like, man, I gotta, because before you can get into specificity, you have to deal with, okay, what it is that I want and what it is that brings, like, what's my joy. And so when you walk into the gym, and you don't have to walk into the gym, when you determine, okay, Do you want to go and play basketball? That could be your fitness. Do you want to go and do a Zumba class? Do you want to go and do a spin cycle class? Do you want to go and do, strength training? And I'll dive into this real briefly. A lot of things I hear from clients or from other individuals is that they want that connectivity with other human beings. And this is a very important, that community piece is extremely important, because you can love a task, you can love a discipline, you can love a thing, but if there's no one else around you where you can share the joy in that the insight and the discovery with, then it's going to be hard for you to continue to come back to it. I remember for me in my powerlifting journey, and powerlifting in the beginning, it's super fun and it's nice, but once you get to like the higher levels and you're dealing with serious weight, you really need people around you, because now it becomes a mental battle. And I didn't do a good job of keeping that community piece. That's why I say community is so important, because I didn't do a good job of keeping the community piece intact. And so I tend to, I'm an introvert. I'm a big analytical thinker, and I think logically. I'm always figuring out, okay, I'm always thinking like that. And so when it came to powerlifting, when it came time for those weights to be moved, what I needed wasn't, to think a lot more logically, to think more meticulously, to be more dieting technical efficiency. What I needed the people around me to boost me. I need people around me to uplift my soul and my spirit, because when you're going through those dark times, when you're going through some of those things that are hampering your spirit, it's the people around you that are going to grab you like, hey man, you got this. Just someone sending you a text message like, hey dog, like I'm gonna see you at the gym at 5:00, and it's 1:00, and you just got cussed out by your boss. You're gonna go to the gym at 5:00 because your boy's there, and you're gonna look forward to seeing him. But if your boy wasn't there and you just got cussed out by your boss at 12:00, you might not go to the gym. You might go home and cry. And this is a very realistic thing that happens to people. But most people don't say this. Most people, they're by themselves in this journey of life. And you don't have to be by yourself. There's so many options for you. You don't even have to join a gym. You can do whatever. But that community piece is extremely important. And I don't want anyone to miss out from having joy come because they're unwilling to, or unable, or don't realize the value in that community piece. So truly join a community, and you'll see so much growth just from that. And what happens is that now when you're on a growth of progress and development, you can share this with others. So you're not just growing and developing, but you see growth and development in others, and then it helps you out and invigorates you. And so now there's like this yin yang where it's like, oh man, you go to the gym like, hey man, I just hit 405 on my deadlift, and your boy's like, man, I hit 415, and so it can, and this is when it becomes of a higher essence. Like a lot of times you see in gyms, you see a lot of toxic competition, but when people can come together and they can share and they can collaborate within the giving of knowledge and the expression themselves, then it becomes this place where there's a lot of nurturing going around, and you don't see the nature aspect where humans immediately begin to try to destroy each other. And so figure out what gives you joy, join a community, and you'll see so much progress from that. The final key is proximity. And so this is going back to simplicity, convenience, and in number one is when you want to get to a specific place, when you want to begin to express yourself, you want to be in proximity in whatever it is that you're trying to do. So for myself, when I got into powerlifting, I went to powerlifting gyms, because by being in that environment, I began, like, you can learn and you can pick up on things even on a subconscious level. A lot of times individuals, the programming that happens to most human beings isn't on a conscious level. Most people aren't aware of the unconscious factors that are determining what happens in their life. And so free will does exist, because we don't have to go into that. But a lot of times we are being influenced subconsciously, and a lot of times we are shocked when we do things and our consciousness is like, why are we doing this? And so if you can hack this, you can hack your subconscious mind by putting yourself in proximity to whatever it is that you're trying to be like. So let's say you want to be in the reason why I'm not using just fitness specific topics is I want people, not everyone is super dug deep into the fitness industry and they don't understand a lot of fitness jargon. And so if I can connect with the viewer by giving other examples then by all means, this will be of extreme value to you. And so let's say you want to be a public speaker. Well, you can start going to public speaking events. You start going where people are doing public speaking. Let's say you want to be a better basketball player. Well, then you go to where people are playing basketball. Let's say you want to be a jiu-jitsu guy. You start going to jiu-jitsu where people are doing jiu-jitsu. Let's say you want to be a dancer. You start going where they do dancing. And so you want to be in proximity to whatever it is that you're trying to do and whatever style you're trying to craft. Let's say I love anime. I'm a huge nerd. Right, the camera's right here, right next to it. I have a bookshelf. I literally have manga, a bunch of manga I'm starting to collect right here. And so I literally go to bookstore wherever I can find manga or there's anime. I have some comic books over there, and I have a couple other things around my apartment that just I have tattoos of anime on me. Like, I love anime. And so, like, you want to put yourself in proximity to whatever it is that you're trying to do or trying to be like, or you're trying to express. And so, but by starting with number one, and some people ask, well, wouldn't I be allowing the external factors to influence me? No, because if you have done number one and you've done that, the individualization, and you're playing by your rules, then when you go to the external, you're not letting the external necessarily influencing you. You're picking up on small things that you can take from what you're seeing from the external. So a lot of times, like when I started doing getting ready to start this YouTube channel, I looked at, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel and I want to begin to help people in discovering and developing self based off of all the things I've learned throughout my journey, and I want to use fitness as the main methodology. And so I said, okay, who's a successful podcaster? And so I Googled a bunch of people, and there's some people I was already watching, and I put myself in proximity to those people. Now, these people, they're, hugely successful, and they got a lot going on. So, like, it's not like I can just pull up to their studio and just be like, hey, dog, like, what's up? No, I was watching, I would watch them. I'd be like, okay, what are they doing? What are some key things I could take away? What has led to their success? And so it's putting yourself in proximity to success. So, like, if you're a young basketball player, start going to NBA games. And let's say let's say you're in a situation where your environment won't allow you to get to those NBA games. Okay, you can watch the NBA games, that's fine. Begin to look at the players. Okay, what are they doing? How are they acting? What are they wearing? What do they do when they're playing in the game? What are they doing when they're not playing in the game? What are small tendencies? What do they do when they have the ball? What do they do when they're not having the ball? How do they act with their coaches? How do they operate with their teammates? And so by picking up on these small things, now it's like, okay, cool. Now, not only will it help with like your subconscious, but it'll also help consciously, because now there's this yin yang where it's okay. Now there's this more flavorful approach to learning and growing, and you're allowing your curiosity to really help you. The education system here in the United States, it doesn't teach us as human beings how to do this. The education system in the United States just tells humans how to think. And so by retaking the reins of that self-education, now you can almost teach yourself and reprogram yourself how to think. And this is extremely powerful, because if you can do this, now nothing is beyond you. Now you can almost learn anything. And so put yourself in proximity to success, and you'll see tremendous growth. Well, this is all the keys I had for you all today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Flow University YouTube channel. I hope you all continue to grow and progress and begin to craft your own unique style. You all stay blessed and enjoy the rest of your day.